This podcast is audio stories, composed by students of the Faculty of Arts and Design at the University of Canberra. Episode 25.
Today I'm talking about getting a new puppy. The reason that we got Tilly is because we lost two of our dogs within a couple of months of each other just before Christmas last year. I had a dog in my life for the previous 25 years, so it was very strange when we didn't have a dog. I didn't think that I wanted to get a new dog anytime soon, but within a couple of weeks my husband, he said that we should look at getting a new dog. Our daughter found an ad for some puppies for sale in Canberra. So I decided that we would go and have a look at them. My husband was at work, so he couldn't come. So just myself and my three kids, we went to have a look at these puppies. And I kind of knew that if I went to look at puppies, I would definitely come home with one because I'm a bit of a softie when it comes to animals. I just thought I wouldn't be able to walk away without bringing one home. And sure enough, we got there. Yeah, we came out with Tilly, who is a chocolate cavoodle. And yeah, she's very cute. She looks a little bit like a teddy bear. I forgot how much work having a puppy was. It really is 24/7. It's almost like having a child. So it's a lot of work, but yeah, she gives us so much love and yeah, we really love her.
Years ago, I think it was around 2000, I went on a family trip to Ireland, and I've always loved Ireland. Its history and the castles and just everything about it, really. It was on my to-do list for many years, and I highly recommend it to everybody. It's very beautiful, lots of history, lots of castles, and the people are super friendly. And the directions are hysterical, but you can find that out when you go over there. They just tell you when you've missed something. The most amazing thing that you won't find in an Explore Ireland book. On the way to visit one of the many castles we went to look at, it was broad daylight, sunny, no mist, cloud, and we're just travelling along admiring the scenery. And while we were driving, we just suddenly saw something out of the corner of our eye on one side of the road, and it was a misty figure. You could see the whole body shape, arms, legs, head in mist, and it just floated across in front of our car. It went to the other side of the road, and then it sort of got to the ditch on the other side and then just dissipated into thin air. And we just looked at one another and said, "Did you just see what I saw?" "Yes." And then we never spoke about it again. The ghost of Ireland.
Today we'll be interviewing our guest, Abigail Di Pietrantonio. Abigail will be diving us into her experience as a nurse who first-handedly faced COVID-19.
At the beginning of COVID, the government was very underprepared for what was about to happen. Walking into work on one particular day, I noticed there was a lot more cleaners visibly around the complex, cleaning everything, steam cleaning the floors, the carpets, the walls, the handrails. We had then been made aware that there was an incident the day before where a COVID positive patient had wandered into the incorrect area and had ended up walking through and utilising parts of our ward. This created a lot of issues as the bathroom in a non-COVID ward became infected. The incident made myself and everybody else extremely nervous and uncomfortable, knowing that you had the potential of walking in or interacting with a COVID positive patient. It was a time of not knowing what was going to happen next, so you felt on guard all of the time for yourself, for your patients, for every person you spoke to, for your superiors, for your doctors. Everybody felt vulnerable and unsafe.
In 1989, I was political counsellor at the Australian Embassy in Beijing. Protests developed. They became more and more significant until the whole Tiananmen Square was taken over. They became a focus of international attention. The government attempted to solve it with unarmed troops. That failed a couple of days later. It appeared that they were going to use force So my colleague and I went down to the square, as we've been going down every day over the last 2 or 3 months, and no sooner had we arrived than an APC started rumbling around the square. Announcements were made that people needed to clear out immediately. The APC rolled away. About 20 minutes later, it came back down the main street. Protesters mounted the APC, pried it open, poured petrol into it and set it on fire. So the first deaths that we saw were actually on soldiers, but then shortly afterwards firing started and became increasingly loud as the army started pushing its way down Tiananmen Square. People started running into the square with blood-soaked coats and saying we needed to get out. And then trace of fire started coming across the square, and my friend and I hunkered down behind a pile of bicycles. The army got closer, the firing became more intense, and we decided to leave.
I was a little girl running around the countryside in northeast Victoria in the Snowy Mountains. And my grandma and grandpa, growing up, they didn't have a lot, they weren't very wealthy. So one of the things we used to do when we were little is that grandma and grandpa would take us when we were little children out into the bush on beautiful sunny days where you could smell the freshness in the air and the beautiful smell of gum trees. And we always had creeks running past making magnificent noises. Grandma would go from log to sunny, grassy area, and she would find us the right mushrooms to pick. Because if you picked the wrong mushroom and ate it, you could actually get very sick and possibly die from it. So one day we were out doing this, and I had gone off on my own, and I thought I found these amazing mushrooms. They were big and juicy and looked delicious, and I popped them in the bucket. We got back home later that day. Grandma was prepping all the mushrooms, washing them off, getting them ready to cook, and she came across the ones that I'd picked, and she got very cross with me and very angry because I'd picked poisonous mushrooms. And I got told very firmly and got told to leave the house because I could have killed someone.